Hi, everybody. It is Friday night. It is the 28th of August. That should just rattle off but it doesn't. I got to think Andrew Cruz, Rage Against the Machine, Tony Punch, and that's about it for us. So I'm going to go right. John, KJ Adams, hi. Supposed to be from 93 to 100 degrees next week. Eastern North Carolina. Oh, it's hot here, 88. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done with it. I am done with it. This is not our real weather, nor have I seen it like this in 74 years. Yeah. How are you feeling, John? Oh, God. Well, it's what we have. And we've got severe weather. We have severe weather. Okay. You like how this line that is very defined. I'm on the right. Okay. Very defined going through 4 states. Okay. Actually, 5. Touches Louisiana as well. All right. We have 7 active severe weather warnings for Maine. Maine. Okay. Nice line right there. Oh my God, this is so not natural. Mother Nature does not work in, straight lines, defined lines, right angles, perfect circles, which, by the way, is it still there? It is. Mississippi, you like the harp circle, the plasma circle that the Doppler radar is making. Do you see it? I hope you see it. It's right there. All right. Okay, Maine and North Carolina and South Carolina. And here are your counties. The link is in the chat. Oh, man. Well, this is looking actually just, it's been cleared. The real, the heat advisories. We do have a flood advisory down here in Georgia and a very small bit of northwest. Do it again, Carol. Southwest South Carolina and Jacksonville, into Jacksonville. Flood warning for Miami. Flood watch. Okay. Well, and yeah, extreme heat warnings for Arizona, half of Arizona, southern half, and California, Las Vegas area. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Jen. Okay. Well, yeah. What do we have? Mandatory evacuations ordered for Pinewood Springs, new wildfire, mandatory and voluntary evacuations for Blue Mountain and Pinewood Springs. Pinewood is the mandatory. This is California. A new fire. And yeah, mandatory evacuation. Here it is. Very, very little information on this.
Breaking news in northern Colorado. Mandatory evacuations are in place for a wildfire in Pinewood Springs. It is burning northwest of the town of Lyons. Our helicopter was above that area this afternoon. Authorities are asking people to leave immediately in order to ensure a safe escape. There is also an area under voluntary evacuation orders. We will continue to update you as we learn more about this fire.
Well, it just happened, so I don't have much information. Big Sur wildfires, historic businesses close again. 2 fires expand. And hello, Elle.
Yeah, well, Dan and Alma, tonight a 40-mile stretch of Highway 1 is closed, and drivers are urged to stay away from the area. At this point, it's not only the timber fire, but the new Plaskett fire is something firefighters and locals are keeping a close eye on, as neither are close to being fully contained.
We're just doing the best we can right now.
The people of Big Sur have been through this before.
This one, though, is very reminiscent to the 2008 Basin Complex fire.
But no fires are the same.
Trying to be as prepared as we can be.
Kirk Gaffel is one of the family owners of the well-known Nepenthe restaurant, Cafe Kiva, and the Phoenix Shop.
We're 800 feet above the ocean. It's got a 60-mile south coast view.
His grandparents started this generational business.
They built Nepenthe restaurant, opened it in 1949. So we're going in our 78th year now.
It's why it's so important to protect it.
We're doing all we can to try to extend this to future generations. It's a magical place.
These images are from their property nearly 3 weeks ago when the timber fire started. That orange glow faded.
We can now see the burn scar.
And after the mandatory evacuation was lifted, Kirk reopened last week.
First time I've seen the sun and some blue skies in quite a few days. What a blessing.
But on Thursday, again, they had to close their doors to shelter in place.
The punch in the gut because we had, this is our busiest month of the year. Every one of the days in August that we're closed is like losing 3 days in the winter.
As Kirk and some of his team stay on site.
Visibility has been relatively limited and pretty smoky.
Nearly 30.
Okay, lots of fires. Hello, Chrissy. Hello, Patricia. And hey, Rebel L. Okay, people are really going through it, and now a massive fire, South London. This was in, I think, an industrial site. What's going on? They're hitting it. I frankly think a lot of these are deliberate, but they seem to be hitting an awful lot of industrial buildings, industrial sites. Ugh. I don't think that this is just, accidents all over the world. But why? Well, whoever works there is not going to be working there for a while. I don't get it. You got to find out what their, what this manufacturer produces. Now, I want to thank my subscriber a lot for sending this to me. Something just beamed down from the sky. And I am beginning a weather modification playlist on this channel. So, this is 17 minutes long. I would love to think that some of you are circulating the information, but let's watch a little bit more than a few minutes. Look at this.
HAARP, the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Project. It is filled with phased array antennas. They steer microwaves into the ionosphere where they will activate all of the ions up there.
They can use excitation waves that actually affect the metallic particles. So we've ionized the air column. They can heat it, they can cool it. HAARP has directional antennas, and they can focus their antennas on where they want to move the jet stream, and they can hit the jet stream, and they create an artificial high.
If you accentuate the high, if you amplify a little bit, it's like building a mound of dirt, and you have a little creek or a little stream of water coming. You build the mound of dirt, that water's not going to go through it. So you build the mound, and then that's going to impact storms that are inbound. And so it's very easy to add those particulates of aluminum, barium, and whatever else they want to put in there, And as you add heat to that, those particulates then radiate the heat into the atmosphere and it warms. And what does a warming atmosphere do? Boom, it expands.
That's scary.
Se está moviendo.
Central eléctrica sobre el mar. Entró el miércoles este barquito, lleno de antenas.
That was a HARP ship.
Sí, ese sentido fue bastante.
Yeah. This is in Brazil. People are taking down a HARP facility. Look at this.
In 1983.
But I don't think it was 2026. That was years ago. Unless there was another facility and they just took them down. But here, earthquakes.
I did radio tomography with 30 watts, looking for oil in the ground. I found 26 oil wells over a 9-state area, and 100% of the time was accurate with just 30 watts of power beaming straight into solid rock. HARP uses 1 billion watts beamed straight into the ionosphere for experiments. Picture these strings on the piano as layers of the earth. Each one has its own frequency. What we used to do is beam radio waves into the ground, and it would vibrate any strings that were present in the ground. We might get a sound back like, and we'd say, that's natural gas. We might get a sound back like, and we say that's crude oil. We were able to identify each frequency. We accomplished this with just 30 watts of radio power. If you do this with 2 billion watts, the vibrations are so violent that the entire piano would shake. In fact, the whole house would shake. In fact, the vibrations could be so severe underground that could even cause an earthquake.
Thousands are missing.
Don't we know it? Very good video, Amplex. I have subscribed, I liked, and I'll put the link in again. You might want to check out the channel. Okay, Elle, I hope you're okay. Yeah.
Missing and hundreds presumed dead after an earthquake triggers the worst flash flooding China and Nepal have seen in centuries. The flood happened so fast, many who were trying to escape, like this man here, were sadly swept away. This flood is of apocalyptic proportions. Look at this. It is ripping through dams and bridges like it's absolutely nothing. The reality is most of these earthquakes are man-made, and we have a whistleblower to prove it.
Last year, I confronted Heizo Takenaka, the former...
God, this brings me back. Does it bring anybody else back?
Japanese finance minister, over why he handed over control of the Japanese financial system to a group of American and European oligarchs. He and his envoy told me that it was because Japan had been threatened by an earthquake machine. I did not believe it at the time. However, when I started exposing some of their doings, I was told by the Japanese security police that because of what I had said on places like Rents.com, that Niigata City was going to be hit by an earthquake. 2 days later, Japan's largest nuclear reactor was the exact epicenter of two earthquakes, both 6.8 in magnitude.
Okie dokie. All right. There was a comment, and I can't see it now. All right. So, yeah, it's very real, and we know it, and it's been going on forever. And you would just like to have adult conversation about the fact that they can control the weather and everything that we are seeing. You cannot say it's natural. You can't. Not when man has the technology to create all the different types of weather, to move about the jet stream, to move about air masses and create tornadoes. All right. Sorry. Now, Ross Fire grows to one of the largest wildfires in record in North Texas. It's 85,000 acres already. This happened in days, in 3 days. 85,000 acres in 3 days. Okay? Oh my God, this is doubled in size in a few hours to about 50,000 acres. By Wednesday, it was at 80,000. Today, it's 85. All right. A lot of people affected by this, and it's still only 21% contained. Ranchers, the farmers, but when you look at all of the flooding, all of the fires, and, people have to feed their livestock, that feed gets, reduced tremendously with every fire. Man, I don't know. And Algerians. So, deadly wildfire in Algeria. I have to wonder if it's near, that island that amazingly Ivanka Trump discovered. Look at this. I didn't look to see, but if it is near there. Horrific wildfires going on all over. Look how hot those flames are. Okay, now, Thursday storm brings down trees, nose out power in Malika Hill. This is New Jersey. And, well, I'm not even going to show this because that's the only thing that they show on this video. I'm sure there was a lot more damage. But look, roads are being carved up with these storms. Severe storms leave damage across region, prompt tornado warnings. New York, New York. Severe thunderstorms swept across the capital region Thursday evening, bringing damaging winds, torrential rain, reports of downed trees, power outages, even tornado warnings for central New York. Okay, this is not what Mother Nature ever brought to us, but really, this is Wilton, New York. This is twister terror Come on. Is it really twister terror? I don't think so. I don't think so. Because we've seen a lot of twister terror. Terrifying twister. This is terrifying. I'm sorry, New York, but we have seen so many. Even the tornado in France last week was terrifying. This ain't terrifying. But, for New Yorkers, maybe, since tornadoes are not the thing, it's not a happening thing there. We asked for pictures of storm damage, and you have come through. Terrifying. All right. Talk about damage. Okay. Isn't it interesting? I don't think a lot of people know. The abject devastation that has gone on almost every single day in 2026. So this talk about damage, okay. Talk about a weird double rainbow in a very, very, very pink sky. Rotterdam, New York. Okay. But really? Oh, I'm going to have to log in. Can't log in. So, Danbury, Connecticut.
And the one next door, but the homeowners across the street were not as lucky. A tree taking down part of their fence and also landing on the home. Now you'll find a bunch of damage in this area. It's right near Northwell Danbury Hospital. Lots of trees down and also wires. We were talking to one of the neighbors here who described what it was like when the storm came through.
The wind started coming and it was absolute just chaos for about a minute or two straight. And then the crazy thing about it was after that was over, the sun came out. I mean, it's still kind of humid. And I mean, to see all this damage, it's just, Mother Nature is can be crazy at times.
We're also right near.
I would have taken off the headphones, but
I-84, where there was a report a tree landed on the highway. Eversource at one point was reporting several dozen outages.
And the outages just keep on going. Here, Chicago area homeowners face lengthy waits, uncertainty as storm-related insurance claims pile up. Well, they're really piling up now.
To find out.
Storm damage are big factors in how quickly insurance companies can move to make policyholders whole. Many people feel like they're left in limbo, uncertain if they should move forward out of their own pocket to make their homes livable or wait for further guidance from carriers.
It has not been a summer. Kids are depressed, trying to keep the house as salvageable as possible to find out what insurance is going to do, and at the same time try fixing what you can on your own.
Jessica
Well, there's a real big problem with insurance companies now. Oh, I am so upset because this didn't come on when I first clicked on this page, and they have a great documentary on this page. So I'm going to link to this. It's Western North Carolina, lost ground, landslides. And, I wish I could play. I can't even move this. So the documentary is called Lost Ground. And I'm going to play. All right. It just came out, I think today. And the only thing that I could find was this 30-second promo. But I watched nearly a half hour of it, and it needs to be watched. It needs to be circulated.
I think we're looking at a catastrophe. catastrophic event here.
My son is down there digging with his bare hands trying to find her.
I think that's probably the loneliest I've ever felt. Never would have thought that it could happen here. Never.
There's so much we still have to learn, but every single state and most U.S. territories have observed landslides.
A tragedy like this could happen anywhere.
Lost Ground, available now on our streaming app.
Oh. This is a news channel. I guess they have a stream free. But if you click on this link that and I'm going to do it again. If you don't get these, you got to remove your ad blocker, which I get all of the time, and it pisses me off because for such a long time, I removed the ad blocker. I didn't have one. I still got these, and I can't get off them. So, yeah, if you can get to this, I would recommend highly watching this video, or go to, I'll post that, by the way, this publication is Houston. So, for Western North Carolina, if you want to go to their news site, the link is in the chat to get the free stream. Yeah, landslides. And they talk about how if there was a real gutting of a landslide program, just finding out where landslides would be created if you had a hurricane in the Appalachian Mountains. Oh, right, I forgot. You don't usually get hurricanes there. But a real heavy rain could create the landslide. But they gutted that program, and they didn't put out any information how Western North Carolina, there were so many areas where after they started funding that program, there were so many areas where it was landslide prone. Now, what do you think people would have done with that information? Nobody thought they were going to be getting a hurricane in Western North Carolina in the mountains. Would that have saved, some people? I don't know. When they bring about this weather and you don't even know it's coming, and, the disasters that they're bringing about, you just don't, generally think, oh, okay, so Hurricane Helene in Florida, maybe I should leave because it could reach me up in the mountains and there could be a landslide. So who knows? But this thing was so absolutely horrible. And boy, the numbers that they cite of the people that died, so low, so incredibly low. Now, USDA recalls 30,000 pounds of Argentine beef. What? Okay, Trump, what was it, just a couple of days ago, announces, he's going to be importing 300,000 pounds of Argentine beef. And then this comes out? What? Sold in Texas and Florida? Oh, this is very interesting. And a string of food recalls issued this summer grows. Listen to this. USDA's Food Safety and Inspection Service classified the recalled beef as a Class 1 health hazard, the agency's highest risk category, but they don't tell you what the contamination is. That's all they say. I'm wondering if somebody at the USDA was a little upset with Trump that he made that announcement. And now, USDA secretary, I haven't heard anything from her. This is weird. So Dr. Darren Detweiler, a nationally recognized food safety advocate, professor, policy advocate, who did not want his face on camera, said, the Class 1 designation suggests the issue is more than routine paperwork. It's not like a paperwork thing. Like, okay, 30,000 pounds of raw beef was not inspected, so we have to recall it and inspect it. Class 1 is not that. It's not like a paperwork thing. You know, somebody made the decision. This does not have to be re-inspected at the border. He questioned how the recall was characterized, given that no contaminant was specified. I find this curious. So do I. Because it's kind of like saying, hey, this is a paperwork problem. This is a bureaucratic problem. We forgot to do this. We missed this inspection, and we have no indication that there's any problem, but we're going to give it the highest classification of risk. It was not immediately clear which retailers sold the beef. That's weird. Okay, they're recalling a beef that apparently has hit the stores, and they didn't even put out where that beef is. So how do you recall without, to the consumer who may have bought that beef? Where? This is insane, but our country is so flippin' insane. The recall comes amid heightened attention because of Trump's announced, the timing, Detweiler or Weiler says, the timing of the announcement and the recall is, this is where we get political 24, 48 hours after the administration approving meat coming from Argentina at a time that there's a major recall of 30,000 pounds of beef. That's a lot of beef. Online discussion has fueled confusion about what is happening with beef imports. No, really? Wow. Stack Stevenson, you're at your wit's end at 60. Yeah. Locally, people I personally know are so effing lost. I don't mind cursing, but I try for those who have very sensitive ears. This is so weird. This is like, I don't know, did somebody just at the USDA just, I'm going to shoot out a recall. It's too hot for rescue helicopters to take off in Phoenix, Arizona. I wonder, about the helicopters, the medical helicopters, too hot to take off.
Well, this is the county with that 100+ heat deaths so far, nearly 600 more suspected and still under investigation. That's more than all of last year. Now, this is Fox 1. It's the county sheriff rescue helicopter. Made about 200 rescues last year. It is a vital life-saving tool, but when it's this hot, just getting it in the air is a challenge. It's so hot in Arizona this week, rescues like this one, hoisting an overheated hiker off Camelback Mountain, may not even be possible. The hotter it gets, the more difficult it is for the choppers to fly. And at 118 degrees, Maricopa County Sheriff's helicopters can't take off.
How much harder does the heat make your job? Oh, it's
A lot.
hard on everybody. It's hard on us. It's hard on the equipment.
Pilot Rich Dickner took us up as the temperature pushed 113. In this heat, hovering pushes the engine's limits. We can only take off with about half a tank of fuel and had to limit our airspeed.
Ultimately, the heat's going to win. Just do what we got to do to get it done. Because the thing with us is nobody else is coming, so we got to do what we can.
That reality and the unrelenting summer heat in Arizona has Sheriff Jerry Sheridan pushing to buy new, bigger rescue helicopters.
Okay, that people hike in this kind of temperature is wild. And Stack, don't apologize. Don't apologize. Look, everything that we're dealing with now and knowing that nothing is going to stop, everything's only going to get worse. Fuck, it's appropriate. Big rig dangles off bridge on I-80 near the California-Nevada line. Do you know how many big rigs or trucks suddenly end up dangling off bridges? Is this like a new thing, or was this happening a whole lot and I missed it?
And that breaking news is in the Sierra. Take a look here right now. Eastbound I-80 closed because of this big rig crash near the California-Nevada state line. This picture is courtesy of CHP, and you see that big rig just dangling right now off a bridge.
There was a driver in that. I don't recall, up until recently, I don't recall seeing this kind of stuff like it's seeing it often now. Grandmother allowed to stay in Colorado. I think I played this last night or 2 nights ago. This, I believe she's 83 years old, and she wants to stay in Colorado, Fort Collins, with her son, grandsons, daughter-in-law. But the guardian and the courts and apparently siblings want the mother to come to Dallas, and she does not want to go. So she's been fighting this. Here's an update.
For you now in a story we've been following. A grandmother living here in Colorado, despite a court order mandating she return to an assisted living center in Texas, can stay in Fort Collins, at least for now.
This is the story 9 News investigates. First brought you earlier in the week. Peggy Hill has refused for months to go back to Dallas. Investigator Chris Vanderveen joins us now. And Chris, a judge now says Peggy can stay where she wants.
That's true, Kim, in large part because she's set to have a surgery to remove pressure on her brain here in Colorado next month. Peggy Hill is under the care of a court-appointed Texas-based guardianship, and as part of a settlement with her kids, she's supposed to spend half of her time here in Colorado and the other half in Texas. That settlement has been complicated by the fact that Peggy now refuses to leave her son and daughter-in-law's home in Fort Collins. She has repeatedly said under no circumstances will she leave. And that is a violation of a court order. And earlier this week, that son and daughter-in-law were ordered to appear in a Texas courtroom to tell a judge why they shouldn't be held in contempt. This is,
you know, some people, they just put out an energy, and you can, you know, spot it in a video. And I always feel like you said energy and people are going to think you're new age. No. People have frequencies, okay? We actually do have frequencies. And there's something about this woman that, you know, within like a few seconds of, you know, the news broadcast that I included in live a couple of days ago, I just really liked her. Like I would love to just sit down, have coffee, talk to her. She just seems very cool.
repeatedly said under no circumstances will she leave. And that is a violation of a court order. And earlier this week, that son and daughter-in-law were ordered to appear in a Texas courtroom to tell a judge why they shouldn't be held in contempt. This is video of the family together in Colorado, video we shot before this week. This afternoon, our partners at FAA and TV in Dallas got their hands on this latest orders in the case, which says in part that it would be in the ward's best interest, the ward being Peggy Hill, for the court to authorize the ward to remain in Colorado for the scheduled surgery and post-operative recovery, and that the application should be granted. It also said her son and daughter-in-law's actions do not rise to the level of contempt. There was some concern the judge might put them in jail for not returning Peggy to Texas.
Good.
This appears to be a short-term fix to a potential.
And it should be a permanent fix. So if you didn't see this video, I'm just going to play a few minutes of it. There's something about this woman that I really like.
In the middle of our national debate on how to best care for an aging population, a story that's playing out here in Colorado is bound to generate some opinions.
5,000 feet above sea level.
I mean, hell, look at this place, okay? I wouldn't want to go to Dallas into a nursing home or an assisted living. I'd kind of like to stay there.
From here. 5,000 feet above sea level.
I mean, this to me is absolute heaven.
It's not uncommon to find the faithful
Got it.
feeling that much closer to God.
I gotta tell you, I get up in the morning and think I've already died and gone to heaven living here.
Colorado seems to suit this 83-year-old Texan just fine.
So I'm not going back to Dallas. I don't want to go back to Dallas. I've said if I go back to Dallas, I'm going in a pine box.
Yet Peggy Hill's wit notwithstanding, right now that decision isn't entirely her own.
I love living here. I don't want to leave. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cry. This is the family, okay? This is the family. The siblings, you know, they're, I guess, fighting, you know, and siblings in Texas, you know, want her there. And she does not want to go. And if her son and her daughter-in-law, and they're fine with her staying, let her stay. This is insane to do. Insane. All right. Oh, yeah. Now, family fight to preserve home. There are so many people who are fighting eminent domain, whether it's a data center, whether it's, you know, well, we're just going to, you know, an easement through your property and all of these wires that probably will attach to a data center. Here's another one.
Continue to follow pushback over proposed power lines in Virginia and Maryland. One project would stretch for more than 250 miles.
Energy companies say it's needed to power growing data centers. Nick Minock is in Clark County tonight, where families who have been there for generations are fighting to keep the lines out of their backyards.
It'll come through here. It'll come all the way through our drain field.
Valley links and Dominion Energy's proposed 765 kilovolt transmission line would rip right through the bank's front yard and sit right by their house.
This is like generational wealth. As far as a mom, I would love to leave this to my children. I would love to think that one of them decided to come up here. We raised cows, we sold beef, it paid college tuition, it fed our family, it fed our extended families. This is the American dream. We work 2 jobs, both of us, to take care of the kids and pay for this. It's pretty upsetting just to be taken away.
Her daughter is concerned about the impact the line would have on the wildlife in Shenandoah.
It just feels like, you know, people in the countryside just being kind of like forgotten once again. It just seems like our needs are being pushed to the side and others are being more prioritized. And it's not really fair.
The line would also impact Rod's farm and run right behind his house.
They would put this enormous towers that would tower over 170 feet over the house.
Rod is the chairman of the Clark County Sanitary Authority. His biggest concern is the impact the project could have on drinking water for most of the county.
If they start blasting and drilling into the limestone, which inevitably the limestone is not very far under our feet here, it has the potential of damaging that spring.
Everywhere we went, we saw signs saying protect Clark County.
It's been that my whole life.
The line would run straight through Bevan's 9th generation family farm that has been in her family since before the United States was founded. They even have the original land deed from Lord Fairfax. The line would go directly over her family's cemetery, where she buried her husband last year.
Just losing him and going through the trauma of that, and then going through the trauma of understanding that this could change even more in my life and my kids' lives and their kids' lives, it's a lot. And they're just taking away too much.
And down the road, the line would stretch over Christine's property, where she operates a horse training business.
If this runs through the front of my property, it would end my business. This is my life. And to think that I have worked and been here 25 years, and they can come and take this away from me.
The line would also stretch through Loudoun and Frederick County in Virginia, nearly 20 counties in West Virginia, and Garrett and Frederick County in Maryland.
Dominion Energy is proposing high-voltage transmission lines throughout Virginia. The company says that power demand is expected to double in the next 10 years. This project, North Valley Link, which would span over 250 miles, would be a backbone infrastructure to help power the energy system and help power homes, businesses, and power-hungry data centers throughout Virginia. Reporting.
Oh, and they're going to win. They're going to win. Remember that young woman who was fighting the data center and the power lines? They took away her home. They literally took away everything. And they won. And they won. This is not right. This is not right. These families, it's like they're living their dream. This woman, the two women in the very beginning, living their dream, and it's being crushed. People who have a dream and working towards it, being crushed. And, State Farm, insurance companies, no matter what the name is, they are so screwing people left and right.
Oklahoma Attorney General Gettner Drummond recently went to Broken Arrow to talk to a homeowner about his fight with State Farm. Earlier this summer, Drummond sued State Farm and Allstate insurance companies, alleging the insurers underpaid claims.
Since last year, Tulsa's investigative reporter Jenna Clark has been looking into your complaints about filing claims. Here's Jenna's follow-up Fox 23 investigation.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm Gettner.
So good to see you. Glad to meet you. I didn't let you want to come in, but
now I want you to kind of let's walk around and talk a little bit.
Attorney General Gettner Drummond came to Broken Arrow this month to meet Kenny Cox because they have something in common. They've both been fighting State Farm Insurance. In fact, months ago, Kenny put this big sign in his front yard criticizing State Farm.
all we have gotten is lies, denies, and delays.
Kenny came home last year to find his home burned. Firefighters said a squirrel chewed through some wires, and that's what sparked the fire. How much of your home was damaged?
All of it. And the fire department, they said, put 10,000 gallons of water on it, which all the ceilings collapsed.
Kenny called his insurance company, State Farm.
You're at their mercy.
Kenny says 2 independent structural engineers told him his home was a total loss. And at first, State Farm adjusters agreed. Kenny says he even asked State Farm if they wanted to tarp the house.
Because we was fixing to get a bunch of rain in for the next 10 days. And they said, no, it's a total loss. We're not wasting money on that.
But then later, Kenny says State Farm changed their mind and said they wanted to fix his home instead.
Just couldn't believe that they come back 3 weeks later and said it wasn't a total loss.
When I asked about Kenny's claim, State Farm wrote this. While we can't share specific details about the claim you mentioned due to our privacy policy, we want to assure you that we are continuing to work with our customer.
I don't think they've got no conscience as a company. And I know that their adjusters don't. They're told what to say, and by golly, that's what they do.
By that time, Kenny says the whole house was full of mold.
You got mold sitting in on the bottom. There's mold there, mold here.
His biggest concern was his wife, Joe's health. Kenny says she suffers from multiple myeloma.
My question to him was, I really, that's fine if that's what you want to do, but with my wife having no immune system because of multiple myeloma, I just need something in writing that you'll guarantee that the house is put back like it was with no black mold.
But he says State Farm told him they couldn't do that. Kenny told Drummond about it too. I asked for this video his campaign crew recorded, and they gave it to me.
Yeah, my wife, she's got multiple myeloma. She don't have an immune system. And that's why this was so, they said, all this mold's growing, and said, they're going to take kids. I said, that's fine. No, I said, that's fine. As long as I get an attorney to draw something up, then you guarantee that it's all gone. Oh, we can't do that. We can't do that.
Kenny says once he heard State Farm couldn't guarantee the mole would be gone, that's when the battle began between him and State Farm.
I'm tired of being lied to, changing in the middle of everything, and no response.
While Kenny was fighting State Farm, so was Drummond. First, he tried to intervene in a current lawsuit, the Hirsch case. Blake Sonny is one of the attorneys on that case.
What did you think when the Attorney General decided to jump in on your case?
We were excited.
But a judge said the Attorney General couldn't legally make that move. So in June, Drummond sued State Farm.
Within 24 hours, we filed an action against State Farm.
Here's what State Farm wrote when I asked about the lawsuit. We are pleased with the Oklahoma Supreme Court's unanimous decision on the Attorney General's intervention in the Hirsch case in June. The Attorney General's lawsuit does not change the facts. State Farm remains committed to helping customers recover.
Bullshit. I need that button. The bullshit button. And I thought I had bookmarked it. There's another news broadcast with this woman who has a tumor. United Health Insurance denied her based on oh my God, what pre-existing condition? A tumor? Pre-existing condition? They denied her surgery. Is something not right here in the good old US of A? And Kroger, I saw this, and I'm glad this was posted because I've gone into the Kroger here maybe 3 times. I can't stand it, but there's one particular thing, and it's a sesame garlic tofu that I'll buy. But my first time going to Kroger's here, because I love muffins in the morning, and I knew that it would just be cake, but I had such a craving for a muffin, and I went into Kroger's, and for 4, they were on sale for $5. I thought, okay, and I went up to that machine, and it wasn't $5. It was they're like $8.99 or something. I'm like, for shit muffins. Okay. Well, I put them back. But, what's going on? Kroger's is, maybe there are some Kroger's that are really nice. I don't know. But not here, for sure. And this has happened to me every time I go. So if there's something on sale and I ring it up, it's not the sale price. What's going on? But because I only, maybe get 1 or 2 items, I notice it. But a whole lot of people, if they're just ringing it up, with a lot of stuff, they may not notice.
Kroger Supermarkets is in big trouble.
Kroger meat department now scamming on the reduction stickers.
This is Kroger, y'all. This is a big ass store, y'all. This motherfucker is nothing in here.
Kroger, really? Count your days. You're not going to be in a business.
For years, Kroger has been deceiving its customers, but now the truth is finally coming to light. Before we get started, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.
Kroger Supermarkets is in big trouble. Just read an article on The Guardian, and here's what they're saying. Kroger stores in multiple states, and remember, Kroger is not just listed as a Kroger supermarket, but like here in California, Ralph's supermarkets are part of the Kroger empire. But check this out. Kroger stores in multiple states have overcharged customers by listing expired sales tags and then ringing up regular prices at the register. So like you come up to a thing of potato chips and it says it's on sale for $1.29, but it rings up for $2.49 at the register. And it's a numbers game. If you notice the mistake and you call them on it, they'll fix it, even though the tags are expired, but they left them out. They did it on purpose. But for every one of you that reports it to them and gets the discount, back, there's probably 9 other shoppers out of 10 that don't catch it. And so Kroger is making zillions of dollars on this duping. It's happening in Ohio, it's happening in West Virginia. And by the time people get home and they notice the discrepancy, they just throw their hands up. What are they going to do? Meanwhile, the supermarket chain makes millions, if not billions, of extra dollars every year with this really murky, sleazy tactic.
So if you go to a Kroger's, be careful. And by the way, I had to go out to pick up a couple of things. It is not fun living this. I couldn't believe that for the couple of things that I was picking up, they were like $1 more each. I'm like, okay, things are not good. And renters, man, okay, I really feel for people. I really feel for them because what is happening is just so evil and it doesn't need to be happening. That's where, I think a lot of people don't go. This does not need to be happening. But everywhere you go, you cannot seem to find a decent place to live that is cheap and affordable.
Landlord, y'all know that I lost my job last month.
And this is what's happening. There are so many people losing their jobs. So many. And the massive layoffs, they are coming back.
I've been applying to jobs for a whole month and have not found nothing. So I just got an email today from one job saying they want to set up an interview this week. So that's amazing. But anyways, I spoke to my landlord about 30 minutes ago and explained to her what was going on and everything because we just got a new landlord. So I had to explain to her. And I asked her the eviction process so I can avoid it and how does the eviction process work? And she said that eviction letters get sent out on the 15th of this month, y'all. Today is the 10th. I do not have the funds to pay it. And where I stay, I'm not eligible for the split payments because of my credit, so I have to pay the full amount. I don't have nowhere near close to it. And I'm at a loss of words, y'all, because even if I were to start a job today, I'm not going to get paid for 2 or 3 weeks. It's usually 3 weeks because they keep a check in the hole. So I wouldn't even have the funds to pay the rent even if I got a job today. I would have had to got a job like weeks ago, which I've been trying, but nothing is working, y'all. So I just don't know what to do, y'all. I really don't know what to do. I called the Salvation Army today. They have a rent assistance program starting again on the 17th of this month, but that'll be 2 days after the eviction letters get sent out. So I don't know how quick that process works. I don't know if I'll get approved for rent assistance. I don't know, y'all. I've never done rent assistance before. I don't know how it works. I'm going to go to the appointment, of course, but I just don't know what else to do, y'all.
Oh, man. So
I really don't know what else to do. It's just me and my son, y'all. If y'all know me, I'm a single mother. It's just me and my son. That's the only people that's in my apartment. We don't have anywhere to go. If we get evicted, we're going to be in a shelter, y'all. Like, I don't know how much more real I can be about it. I just don't know what to do. If anybody has any help, any advice, please let me know. I'm still waiting on unemployment. I applied a month ago for unemployment and it's still in progress. They haven't made a decision yet. So I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. Applying for jobs, saving every little bit of money that I have, not spending it. I mean, I don't know what to do, y'all. My rent is $9.75. I got the proof of it. I got the proof of the letter they sent me last week about my rent being late. I got proof of everything. I'm not lying. This is real life.
This is what I wish everyone knew before going.
Okay. I don't know what is going to come of all of this. It's not going to be good, though. I know that much. But listening to all of these people, people who don't have, family and they're being evicted. I listened it was another video, and I can't find it now, but this woman was talking about how, you know, she just can't afford life anymore, right? I think she was laid off, maybe not. No, she was working, but with everything and the rent going up, and she said, we're moving back with mom. For people who have that option, do it. Do it. And be incredibly grateful that you have parents, mother, father, whatever, sister, brother, I don't know, uncle, aunt, that will open their door. And if you have, a history of that familial discord, don't go there. Don't go there. But at the end, she said, and so we're just going to split the rent, and I'm going to help my mom out. That I've been saying forever. Even if you can still afford your rent, but it's really tight, if you have that option, families need to come together. You should not feel ashamed about it at all, nor should you feel ashamed asking for help. Not now. Not when we know the reality of what is taking place. Not when we know the reality. But I listen to these people and I hear them. It's like they have to qualify certain things. They have to explain. They have to say, I can prove everything, because trust is gone. Trust is, especially when you're the one who needs help, that trust, paramount. If there's no trust out there, who do you go to? How do you ask for help? You come and ask strangers. That's what you're left with. And you get humiliated by them, but some can relate to your situation, and maybe, some are getting helped out. But this is what unprecedented, okay? And it should not be happening at all. This man getting evicted. I don't know what to do at this point, right here. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. This is epic. Economist. The link is in the chat. I've recommended Epic Economist a number of times. I still do. And I mean, it's really heartbreaking, especially for those who have children. Oh boy, do we need community, and it's pretty much non-existent. All right, tracking you, your router can now see through walls. For some of you, doesn't this seem a little late coming? Very. We were talking about how Wi-Fi, they can see through walls with Wi-Fi. And I will post the link to this if you want to see it. It's, yeah. The surveillance is beyond Flock, but a good video. I will post the link. Flock is just the tip of the surveillance. And everybody's on Flock, but I don't hear them talking about Axon, and which is another, and it's worse than Flock. All right, maybe people will begin, to research Axon, but just listen to the first, minute.
I'm going to describe a country, and I want you to tell me who I'm talking about. This is a country that keeps a database of everywhere its citizens fly, and a database of everywhere its citizens drive, and a database of everything its citizens purchase with credit cards, and a database of everything that their citizens post online, and maintains a database of 30 billion photos so that they can identify people walking down the street with facial recognition. If I describe that country, who am I talking about?
That's what I would say, China.
Yep, 5 years ago, most people would have said China. China got the prototype. We're getting the industrial version, the production version.
You might want to circulate this. Tip of the iceberg, absolutely. And the surveillance has been going on prior to Flock. Okay, and how an Atlanta suburb ended up sharing Flock data with more than 2,000 organizations. Oh, it's not just those cameras reading the license plates. This is, I guess, Alpharetta. Is that how you pronounce that suburb? In Georgia, cops shared data with thousands of Flock users, ranging from federal agencies to a Fish and Wildlife Commission. And the reason why, well, it's vast and invasive, and yes, we know. So, Alpharetta, a prosperous suburb, Atlanta, Georgia, home to 67,000 people, served by 120 local police officers. It also hosts several dozen cameras, Flock safety cameras. Data captured by those Flock cameras, Wired, the publication here, has learned via public records requests, is accessible to more than 2,000 police departments, colleges, airports, government agencies across the United States. They range from Morehouse College to Florida's Fish and Wildlife Commission and include Medicare fraud investigators in Illinois, a drug task force focused on East Central Missouri, and the Inspector General of a federal agency. In return, Alpharetta receives Flock data from more than 1,300 entities, which span from the prosecutor's office of Whitley County, Indiana, to the Metro Police Authority of Genesee County in Michigan. This is insane. This is insane. Okay. But what they tell us, a whole lot of Americans are still believing when somebody is putting up a surveillance camera, you can't believe them. Okay. Because, well, we're Americans and we're not supposed to be surveilled, right? Okay. Data sharing across agencies. Well, they can share the automatic license plate readers with state-run fusion centers, which centralize resources from law enforcement agencies in particular regions. They can share it with a regional high-intensity drug trafficking area. But setting boundaries, we shouldn't be having these cameras at all. I will post a link to this and you can read it, but it is. Now, that's one suburb of Atlanta. Don't you think that this is going on in a whole lot of places? Okay, so another bear makes his or her way into a Lake Tahoe cabin. Now, before I play this, I just want to say, when I was in Montana and I was in a cabin, and what was coming over, news broadcasts and news, there were, I think, 3 bear attacks, killing one woman in Montana, one right across the border in Canada, and another one, but I was really nervous. Okay? This was a huge adjustment from someone who really, is a New Yorker. Okay? We don't get bears coming in our apartments. Though, also Massachusetts, and I have a great bear story, but not now. All right. I was nervous. I didn't want to leave the windows open when, I went to bed. I did, get the bear spray. But I was thinking, the bears are all over. The bear did come and I guess did a lot of damage to the chicken area that they had. But, I don't even think I brought it up. I did bring it up that I didn't want to walk alone. And that's why, get the bear spray. And I'm like, you don't understand who I am, okay? What am I? I'm just going to be walking with this bear spray. And if a bear pops out, you know, I have to rip something off and then I don't know. I didn't want to walk alone, okay? It was a huge adjustment that I never had the time to adjust. But this happens, okay?
Okay, new video. Take a look at this, you guys, of a bear breaking in. There you see him in Lake Tahoe. The people who own the cabin say he came in through a slightly open window. He didn't damage anything, but he put a dent in the food supply. So what did he eat?
Give all the cookies.
Ate all the cookies.
And your massive chocolate bar.
Ate our massive chocolate bar.
He ate all the good stuff. I'd be so mad. Yeah, so in addition to the cookies and the chocolate, he enjoyed more than one Diet Coke, Colleen. They're just like us.
Wait, he had a Diet Coke and he had that kind of sweet too?
Yeah, exactly.
You're right, he is
to
just like
compensate
us.
for all of those.
So that's not a small bear.
He had that kind of sweet.
It just came in because there was a window open. Yeah, I was nervous. Oh, I also had an air horn, right? But I just didn't want to. Oh my God, I was like, where am I? And frankly, in New York City, I was never afraid of, even though I had, my experiences with, being held up when I managed this cafe. I was mugged, knife point, to the neck, and other things that happened. But I was still not afraid living in New York. Get me on a mountain all the way up in Montana. Okay. Now, job growth. Okay. A revision of the 2025 numbers. A revision. We usually get the revision every month, right? So they come out, we created 500,000 jobs. And then about a week later, that report is revised down substantially, okay? This one, U.S. job creation over the 12 months ending in March, was somewhat weaker than previously reported. Well, that's an understatement. Approximately 79,000 fewer jobs were added for the second quarter of last year through the first quarter of 2026, reflecting about 178,000 fewer private sector jobs. That's quite a revision. Retailers shed 154,000 jobs from previously estimated totals. Private education, health services employers had 96,000 fewer positions, and business services firms saw their payroll tally reduced 76,000. But hey, there are so many jobs out there. More Americans are working than ever before. Okay? Why do you think there are so many channels that are posting compilations of people who are posting that they're just freaking out, they're getting evicted, they can't find a job, they can't pay their rent? This is not okay. This is not okay to listen to lies every single day and crickets. Woof. They just erased. Here, I'm just going to play a few minutes of this, but this goes into, this is a rather in-depth look at what has just come about.
103,000 American jobs just got erased, and the Bureau of Labor Statistics is holding the eraser. On August 7th, the BLS didn't just report that employers cut 23,000 jobs in July. They went back and rewrote history, revising May and June down by a combined 103,000 jobs. Jobs we were told existed, jobs that were never really there. That's why we're telling you they just erased 103,000 jobs. And folks, housing takes the hit first. Bill Adams, chief U.S. economist at Fifth Third Bank, says the unemployment rate is now falling, mostly for the wrong reason, not enough workers. Think about that. So in this video, number one, we're going to show you the one Federal Reserve chart proving 2,345,000 full-time jobs have vanished since January 2025. And
Okay, well, all the numbers I think are low, but the unemployment number is so that it's, you want to talk fraud, that's a fraud. And, you know, all those who have just given up, you know, they just can't find jobs, they're not counted. They are not counted. Trump looks to ease beef processing regulations. Do you understand that there's agencies, that there are, there's a Congress, you know, and we're in that place where this guy just does whatever the hell he wants to do, and nobody is restraining him. That's not a good thing. So Friday said his administration will seek changes to allow farmers and ranchers to slaughter and process their own products in response to calls to loosen the grip of the big companies that dominate U.S. meat processing. That's a plane. Okay. All right. Whether it's good or not, you know, he shouldn't be, you know, this king who decides on everything now. And I can't stand slaughter. That I don't like what we do here to our domestic animals, not at all. In my very early, actually, it was my late teens, I saw this documentary, and it was about slaughterhouses and what was going on. I don't even want to remember. I stopped. I couldn't. It's not like I haven't had a hamburger, but I can't even eat those anymore because just disgusting. But I could not eat meat. Then it was the chicken houses. Nope, can't go with chicken anymore, or turkey, or it knocked out a lot of my menu, and it's still going on. It is still going on. How horrible these animals are treated. And a whole lot really abused. And then guess what? Then they're slaughtered, and then you buy it at a supermarket, and then you eat it. Abused animals. Ugh. The EPA issues permitting guidance to further Trump's agenda promoting data centers and safeguarding communities. This is the exact opposite of what they're doing. It's the exact opposite. You know, the permits, the pollution permits, well, he's just gutting all regulations big time. Do I have another? Oh God. Okay. Um, the yeah. Our Environmental Protection Agency is not there for us. Okay. He's gutting all rules and regulations, and a whole lot don't care to know what the rules and regulations are. They just think it's great. It's not great. I'll post the link to this. There was another article that I read, and I highlighted it and everything, and sorry, link is in the chat. And here. All right, the gutting rules and regulations. More than 400 endangered animals at risk as Trump administration rips apart decades-old rule. This is not okay. Trump administration decided to rescind a rule protecting old growth forests. The rollback, yeah, it is absolutely the habitats, the species themselves are put at great risk. 1,800 miles of protected rivers, streams at risk. So they rescinded the 2001 roadless area conservation rule, citing outdated restrictions. This is what the administration says. They're outdated restrictions that have kept tens of millions of forested acres off limits to the very treatments that improve forest health and reduce wildfire risk to the community. Well, that's what they say. No. They just want access to these forests, and the Trump administration is also selling off a lot of the public lands. Our national forests are home to some of America's most iconic animals, grizzlies, hellbenders. I don't even know what that is. These forests provide clean drinking water to countless communities. Bulldozing more roads through them will mean dirtier water, fragmented wildlife habitat, and greater wildfire risk. For a generation, the roadless rule has kept our wildest places wild. And if Trump succeeds in just scraping that rule, he'll do irreversible damage to our wildlife, water, wild places that define the American landscape. Oh boy, he's doing a tremendous amount of destruction. Mike Johnson says he needs more Republicans elected to Congress to help tackle inflation. Oh, really? So before you do anything about that inflation, you are going to wait until the election and then until the next Congress when they're sworn in next year? How about doing something now?
That's what's helped so many people. Now, we got a lot more work to do. We need reinforcements to do it. You don't just flip a switch and get out of 40-year high inflation that Biden gave us, okay?
Biden gave us 40-year high. Do you notice? Everything is Biden's fault. Everything. Not the war, not Trump, not the gutting of so many jobs, not the economy collapsing. Republicans, that you support this party, not that we have two parties, but really, you should be ashamed of yourself at this point.
Okay, it's a gradual process, and we're getting that done. So great record to run on. We have second reason, we have far superior candidates, okay? Okay, that's what's helped so many.
Mike Johnson, all of these people enrich their wealth. Trump, my God, billions upon billions, and he's still at it, right? While Americans get destroyed. Okay, electricity skyrocketing, water, price of water, water utility skyrocketing, rent skyrocketing, mortgages skyrocketing, has nothing at all to do with the Trump administration, Trump and Johnson. Nothing. It's all Biden's fault. Trump's quietly working to give part of Yosemite to a private developer. Wow, man, this guy needs to be restrained, but I think most people are just scared of him because you know what? The malignant narcissist, their evil is really scary. For more than a year, the National Park Service has been quietly working to fulfill an unprecedented directive from Trump officials, parcel off a corner of Yosemite's National Park to give to a private developer so they have private access to the national park. Okay, they're trying to arrange a land exchange between a Nevada-based company and the federal government, a roughly quarter-mile strip of land inside Yosemite, to a company that, through a web of limited liability companies, is operated by real estate developer and investment firm Kingsbarn Realty Capital. Officials are proposing the Park Service give up the land or interest in the land in the form of an easement, and in return receive land of equal value somewhere in California. That has yet to be decided. Okay, this is a private developer who owns an 83-acre plot of land just outside the western boundaries of Yosemite. Jeff Borey, CEO of Kingsbarn, he wants to build a short road connecting the property to one of Yosemite's central thoroughfares. The new road would give the land exceptionally rare private access to a park that is otherwise almost entirely buffered by the national forest. Otherwise, people have to drive like an hour and a half. So these rich folks, hey, give over, some private access to Yosemite. And this has been going on actually for decades because other people who owned land, they tried with the Bush administration, they tried with the Obama administration, and it was a no-go. But with good old Trump, yeah, do it. I love the billionaires. I love the billionaires. I'll post the link to it if you want to read the details, but handing over public lands to private developers, this has been going on. Trump is known for it. Crickets. U.S. territories. What is this? Donald Trump on his Truth Social, he posted this we have a new territory, which is the Strait of Hormuz. But we also have new territories. According to Trump, now he wants to take over 2 more countries, the Marshall Islands and Federated States of Micronesia. Okay. It's Trump. What do? It's Trump. He casually threatens to take over 2 more countries. And in all of what has taken place in his second term, he has so destroyed our relations with other countries. I hope you know that, right? And I do have to wonder, is this purposeful? Is he setting us up for attack? He might be. So Micronesia, Marshall Islands, and Marshall Islands occupied and administered by the United States since or during World War II. Congress granted the islands their independence in 1979. Micronesia, also occupied during the war, gaining its independence in 1990. Both have a compact of free association with the United States, which means they get financial assistance and access to certain U.S. government programs such as U.S. Postal Service, National Weather Service, and, well, that arrangement also is that our U.S. military gets to operate in those territories. But for some reason, Trump, I guess, just wants to take them over completely. And he's hurt relations with these two islands. Okay. All right. He has literally just the reputation that every single day we become more hated in the world. We become more hated. What else is, I will post the link to this because TNR is a very good publication, and the latest and greatest, well, you can just scroll on. Oh, they changed them. Of course they did. Trump tries to bribe white South Africans to come here. Yeah. Bribing them with money. Now, most refugees get $2,425. South Africans, they receive $4,500. And that's essentially all the refugees that are allowed to come in. White South Africans. And it's bullshit about the genocide going on in South Africa. Well, Elon Musk, little Nazi boy, well, South Africa. Peter Thiel, when he was a kid, he grew up in South Africa. Pentagon refuses to identify staffer tracking Democratic Socialists? Really? Janika Pounds, Utah woman behind a prominent right-wing account, Data Republican, launched a public tool Friday called DSA Explorer, Democrat Socialist Explorer, which she described as an interactive map of the Democratic Socialists of America and the wider anti-imperialist solidarity network. Oh, these people, man. Project is a disgusting attempt to target Americans for their political affiliations, and it's particularly inappropriate project for a federal worker. She's listed as a special government employee of the Defense Department, but we don't get to know what sub-department of the Pentagon or what she's actually doing. Pounds. She falsely accused Sarah B. Rogers, the State Department's undersecretary for public diplomacy, of attempting to get her to leak sensitive information. And this Pounds, she has a disclaimer at the bottom of her website. She warns that her data may not be 100% accurate. Quote, inferred, ideological, patron sphere associations are analytical interpretations, not statements of fact. And nothing here alleges unlawful conduct by any name, person, or organization. The disclaimer states, do not rely on this material without independent verification. Are you kidding me? Out of the Pentagon. Okay, well, surveillance flock is just the tip of the iceberg. And this, I'm sorry. All right. I come so close to saying that F word. And I know some people just say it. Well, there are people who get upset. So, Trump uses AI to support his fantasy that Dolly Parton liked him. Okay. Trump, desperate to cash in on the love for Dolly Parton. So he posts this on his Truth Social. Oh my God, what the hell? All right. Really? Okay. Everything is a lie. It's a fake picture, AI. But apparently, he also, with Glenn Beck, had said that he said Dolly really liked him. He suggested she never publicly supported him because she'd lose 20% of her fans. Wow. And Dolly is not here to say he's lying. She never, ever disclosed any political affiliation. We're crazy, man. Just this flipping, this guy makes us so crazy. It's like, enough, man. Ugh. And listen to this.
Again, this is only the tip of the iceberg with him.
Oh, it is. This guy's a complete con man. It's unbelievable to me that he is more proud of Egypt than he is his home country of America. I mean, this explains to me why he doesn't like Mackinac Island, why he doesn't like Ford pickups, why he doesn't like businesses that sell alcohol. I mean, the list just keeps going. He doesn't like football. He thinks that's racist too.
Again, this is only the tip of the iceberg with him.
That's all we will be hearing until, I guess, November. What is it? Well, I don't know what the date is, but until like November 5th. This is all we will be hearing. They all got it. The Republicans in that party, they all got their talking points, and they're out. Oh, this guy, he hates America, and football, he hates football, and alcohol, and okay, well, I don't like football, and I don't drink, and a lot of people don't like alcohol, but this guy hates America. What a great list you put out there.
I'm asking British Columbians, if you have a choice, please don't travel to the United States. Choose another place to do your tourism. If you can choose a Canadian product instead of an American one, please choose it. Right now, Canadian workers from coast to coast to coast need our support. With 50% tariffs imposed by the president on many products, by being our own best customer, we can help respond and support Canadians in every corner of this amazing country we call home.
How many of you think that what Trump is doing to the United States with all of these countries, just, okay, he's making us very vulnerable, and what was the news, which it's still the news, about how we went through so many weapons, and it was obvious that they were lying about the Iran war, and we lost, and now we sit vulnerable We don't have the clout that we used to have. But how many of you think that it's purposeful to get the world to hate America? Now, there was good reason to hate us a long time ago. Okay. But all of this, other leaders have come out and said, you know, they put out their travel advisories to, if you're traveling to the United States, be careful. I have to wonder if it's purposeful. But look, this is Trump too. And a whole lot of people, I think, are scared to go against, everything that Trump is doing. Nobody wants to rein him in. And he's putting all of us in great danger. Don Jr. faces bombshell probe. The whole friggin' family is just raking in the billions. Jamie Raskin, top Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee, questions whether the lucrative bets made by 1789 Capital, which is this firm of Don Jr.'s, since January 2025 have been helped by access to the Trump administration. I would guess yes. 1789 Capital, reportedly worth only a few $1 million when Trump Jr. joined, is now estimated at roughly $3 billion. So there have been a series of investments that Don Jr. made with almost clairvoyant accuracy. One investment, Vulcan Elements, a rare earth magnet producer. 1789 Capital bought an undisclosed stake in 2025. 3 months later, Pentagon announced a $620 million loan to the company. So a two-year-old startup, which is Vulcan Elements, at about $200 million, around the time of Don Jr.'s investment, following the news of the government deal, estimated value soared to $2 billion. Amazing turn of events. Trump administration decided to pump over $500 million into this unproven startup company. Trump Jr. has denied having inside information. Bull friggin' shit about the firm's investment in Juul, the vape, the e-cigarette, Polymarket, defense contractor Anduril and Industries. Well, so his investment in the e-cigarette company Juul, March 2025, before the FDA later reversed a ban on certain e-cigarette products. Well, do you think they reversed the ban on Juul? Yes. Don Jr.'s new leadership role, 1789 Capital, has developed an uncanny ability to identify companies that are about to receive massive influxes of cash from the Trump administration. They say there is no such thing as a sure thing in investing, but this is about as close as you can get. People should be rip shit. Trump family's new crypto bank is backed, oh my God, by Abu Dhabi's spy sheik. What are we doing, man? What are we doing? 49% stake in this new Trump bank, World Liberty. Well, I'm just going to play Chris Nolan, and again, I recommend checking him out and subscribing, but he'll get into it I get tired of talking.
So there's a lot going on behind the scenes, and I want to show you guys what it is. First, UAE spy chic backs 49% stake in Trump's family's crypto bank. Wow, fantastic. And essentially, they want to give out more bank charters for ventures like these, more crypto, more laundering, more corruption. And it gets even more insane. U.S. bank regulators to narrow enforcement. So again, basically deregulation, narrow enforcement. Overhaul is part of a wide.
And just what we need, deregulation of the banks, right?
Wider deregulatory push under the Trump administration. And one of the key lines in this is that they want to redefine words. So let me read this. It says, the revamp includes the issuance of a new definition for the term, quote, unsafe or unsound practice. Okay? So if you're talking about a bank, you want to make sure that they have your money. Effectively, you want it to be a bank, not necessarily a bunch of crypto or a bunch of debt or a bunch of unsafe or unsound practices. That is actually the technical term. And the Trump people, they want to redefine what that means. What does it mean to be unsafe or unsound, right? Oh, you've got a bunch of Trumpy coin in your bank. Oh, that sounds totally fine to me, right? But under like any sort of sane rules, that sounds like unsafe and unsound to me. And again, that is the argument here is, what is the definition of unsafe and unsound? But wait, there's more. It says it also sets a higher bar for the issuance of, quote, matters requiring attention. Okay, so when something becomes a serious issue, when should we, take notice?
Really
That's this what it says. That is the formal notice that regulators send to banks to correct deficiencies. So, again, we are deregulating banks, which has major implications for our financial system. And already, we have an economy based on debt, and we also have people at the top, Elon Musk, who are effectively running scams nonstop. It's insane. So start messing with our banking system again. You guys know who lived through a great financial crisis is not a good thing.
U.S. in talks with Venezuela to take major stake in oil fields. Nothing that's going on is good. Nothing. And it leads to a tremendous amount of suffering. The four-leggeds, the two-leggeds, life itself. I put the link in again, by the way. So corporate America cut back big checks, cut big checks to Trump. They're all now working the Democrats because they sense the Republicans are not going to be winning the House for sure. And they're working the Democrats because they're afraid that big tech companies, especially, that they're going to be investigated. And it could lead to criminal investigations. All the money passing between Trump and then, coming back, Trump to the corporations, coming back to Trump. And how the Iran war made the U.S. more vulnerable. So if you don't know, and frankly, I don't know how much is true and how much is false, but certainly a lot of information has come out in the recent months about how our military just doesn't have it anymore. We've lost. The leaders of the world know that the U.S. lost. They know that Trump lies through his teeth and Hegseth. They know that they're like high school bullies and our seems that our weapons have been greatly reduced. If you want to know more, I'll leave the link. But it's been reported for months now. And so, and plus the fact that our troops are all over the world. So let's say Russia and China decide, you know what, we're a little tired of the United States. Let's go after them. What do you think will happen to the American people? Trump's Navy punishes 19-year-old sailor who threw himself overboard in a suicide attempt after months abandoned at sea. Well, this is typical also. It's typical of, hell, just Americans in general. That the judgment, the cruelty. 19-year-old service member, married father of 2 children, faces non-judicial punishment for violating the military code. So they have a military code that says, don't jump overboard, I guess. He hurled himself overboard in an apparent attempt to drown during a mental health crisis. As living conditions aboard the ship deteriorated, sailors aboard the Lincoln are said to have endured moldy showers, broken toilets, laundry outages, food shortages, long stretches without hot water. Navy documents accuse the service member of intentionally faking an illness, wow, or hurting themselves to avoid work, duty, or service, while a separate charge claims he failed to report to his required place of duty. His wife, I think they're insane for doing this to people who need mental help. Instead of giving them help, this is just another huge stressor. His wife said repeatedly that he had requested paternity leave to see his newborn daughter, and he was denied each time. Why do they do this? Why do they enter the military? Well, a whole lot enter because there's no jobs, but they want people scared. Former Palestine Action. Okay, Palestine Action. Again, I'm going to have to say it. An intel agency in the UK had a report, Never Lose Truth. I posted it twice. The document that said Palestine Action is not a terrorist organization. And the UK said, to hell with that. We're just going to claim they are a terrorist organization. And apparently, well, we're following suit. Okay? So Kent, when police in Kent, UK, arrested American peace activist Max Geller in 2021 for chaining himself to a van parked in front of an Israeli-owned weapons factory, he knew he might be jailed and face charges for his protest. What he didn't realize was that he could be hit with U.S. sanctions 5 years later for his past ties to a so-called terrorist organization. So Trump administration Wednesday announced sanctions against the UK-based anti-genocide protest group Palestine Action. And what they are doing, jailing these, and there's a lot of elderly that are protesting with Palestine Action, but, well, you're giving support to a terrorist organization, so we're going to charge you, and literally as terrorists, and lengthy jail times. So the goal of these sanctions, and it's not just Max, but anyone that supports Palestine Action will be hit with these sanctions. It's to protect Americans. They're doing it to protect Americans from the risks posed by far left terrorism. You don't like genocide? You're a terrorist. Major threshold has been crossed, said Geller, who was previously Palestine Action spokesperson but left the group in 2025 when the British government made membership punishable by 14 years in prison. They're now treating regular Americans who want to effectively oppose genocide as terrorists. Everybody should be up in arms. Up in arms, for sure. All right, so let me just end with Caitlin Johnstone. What she has to say about what I was just saying.
You're a terrorist if you resist genocide or mass surveillance.
That's right.
With other notes. The U.S. has joined the U.K. in adding the activist group Palestine Action to its list of designated terrorist organizations. The U.K. prescribing Palestine Action was already arguably the most insane attack on free speech in recent Western history. And now it's the official position of the U.S. government as well. Western support for Israel is poisoning our entire civilization. The U.S. has also made the unprecedented move of adding the Italian tech support collective Autistici/Inventati to its list of banned terrorist groups, not because they've been accused of any crimes, but explicitly because the company allows people to communicate with each other while staying, quote, anonymous, untraceable, and beyond the reach of the law. Americans are now strictly forbidden from any transactions with the banned company. In this dystopia, mass surveillance is now so normalized that you can be designated a terrorist for helping people avoid being surveilled. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has been issuing statements thanking Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Israeli President Isaac Herzog for their support, gushing about the bilateral cooperation, trade partnerships, and strong people-to-people bonds between the two countries. These statements have been causing a lot of cognitive dissonance for a particularly annoying category of Western progressive. You know the type. The ones who say both Slava Ukraini and Free Palestine and act like cheerleading for a NATO proxy war is an act of anti-imperialist resistance. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent just tweeted, as the Iranian people struggle to afford basic necessities, the corrupt regime continues to squander enormous sums abroad. Instead of funneling billions of dollars to its terrorist proxies, the regime should spend that money for its people. Which is just hilarious, given what country this is coming from. It's so funny that U.S. officials keep making this criticism of Iran. The United States is literally the single most egregious offender on the planet when it comes to spending obscene amounts of money on militarism and proxy warfare overseas, while its own people struggle to afford basic necessities. I myself have built an entire career on slamming the United States for doing precisely this. Saying you're both pro-Palestine and pro-Israel is nonsensical. I have a friend who was savagely raped by a guy in her social circle, and her friends told her they didn't want to take sides about it because they valued their friendship with both her and her rapist. That's what saying I'm both pro-Palestine and pro-Israel reminds me of. Europeans stopped fighting constant wars with each other like 10 seconds ago, and yet the average white Westerner will tell you, the Middle East has always been at war, so all the bloodshed there is an unsolvable dilemma. The only reason the Middle East didn't join the rest of the world in entering into a period of relative peace and stability after the Second World War is because the West created Israel right after World War II and has been aggressively destabilizing and abusing the region ever since. AI isn't going to save us. Techno-utopianism only sounds reasonable when you don't know the tech is run by an alliance of narcissistic billionaires and psychopathic government agencies who have no interest in creating a better world and would happily incinerate billions of people to obtain more money and power. Centrists are going to keep concern trolling about anti-Semitism until everyone to the left of Hillary Clinton is politically neutered. The mass media are going to keep concern trolling about anti-Semitism until pro-Palestine protests are illegal. Zionists are going to keep concern trolling about anti-Semitism until everyone in West Asia who opposes Israel is dead. The latest wave of Hassan Piker hysteria shows that there is nothing these freaks won't pretend to believe in order to stomp out criticism of Israel and shut down all leftward movement in U.S. politics. The guy made the completely obvious and indisputable observation that Jews are endangered by the Zionist tactic of painting all Jews as a monolith who support Israel, and now the top Democrats in Washington are pretending to believe he said Jewish people deserve to be attacked.
Yep.
The way they're all just lining up behind a narrative they all know is false has got to be one of the most nakedly cynical uses of this smear that I have ever seen employed. Writing about anti-Semitism smears in the year 2026 is so tedious, because everyone already knows this tactic is bullshit and everything worth saying about it has already been said. But it really is fascinating how they're looking us right in the eye and telling us they're going to keep using this weapon to slash at the left until the blade has completely broken, rather than simply espousing popular policies that make the world a better place.
The link is in the chat. I recommend subscribing. And Caitlin Johnstone, she writes the article and has somebody else read the article into YouTube videos. And, well, I've been a Caitlin fan, I don't know, God, years and years and years. And hello, Rick Doom, greetings from Australia. How are you doing in Australia? Oh boy, all Western nations going down. So radar, okay. Let's see. Look at all of these nanobots. Let's see how many. I don't think very many. Boy, oh my God, 5, only 5. It's a quiet, only North Carolina. Quiet night. By the way, right after the live last night, the thunder started. My only friendly neighbor across the street left me a text and called, warning me to move my car. She moves her car because she too is afraid that tree in the front is going to come down, or the branches are going to come down and hit both of our cars. Only special marine warnings, not that is something to take lightly, because they produce thunderstorms, coastal flooding, Fort Myers Beach, Merritt Island, and Cape Henry wrecked. All right. Now, I'm very, very sorry to do this. I hate doing it. But if anybody wants to donate, that would be fabulous. And the link to my PayPal is underneath every single video that posts. It's neverlosetruth@gmail.com. And I'm going to have to say it again, in the beginning, or maybe in the beginning and end, because I'm pretty, well, I'm with an awful lot of Americans who are really hurting. So if anybody feels like, I don't know, people call it a tip, if you have gotten anything from these lives, I really would appreciate it. So, and yes, we have to work on ourselves. We've got to be trustworthy. We've got to be consistent. We have to keep our word, all of that kind of stuff, and just try to do the best we can. helping communities. What is that? What is that? Oh, it's the street sweeper. They do keep the streets very clean here, but they're late tonight. Anyway, do your best out there. Help those that you know need it in your communities, the animal shelters, the food banks, and do stay safe. All right? Stay safe. If anybody has seen or heard from Sandra Pilgar, could you let me know? I'm really worried. There are several people I'm worried about, but Sandra is one of them. I don't know. I'm going to have to look back at my live streams on this channel to see. I think she knows Never Lose Truth 5. But I also know that she's, got medical issues. So, yeah. All right. Guys, stay safe. Thank you for showing up. I hope to see you tomorrow. And good night. Good luck. Ciao.